How do you feel that like the feminist movement has changed since, I guess, since like the 90s? Because I remember like when I was...
Since the 70s?
Well, no, I'm thinking
Since
in like the
Ms.
last
Magazine?
10 years.
Since Adam and Eve.
Because I think we're about the same age, and I feel like it's definitely been different from when like I was in high school until like now. With the whole like Riot Girl scene and things like that.
Totally. Well, Riot Girl was really amazing because it like made feminism really cool or something, and it was definitely like a fad thing, which I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that when it like serves the purpose of people being more informed and more excited about being good people. But so I think that was really great that happened, but unfortunately there's been a major backlash even just since the 90s, which of course happens with everything. And people are just afraid to use the word feminist now. So I mean, actually I think everybody is willing to admit that they are so many things that feminism is, but they just don't want to use the word. So
And why do you think that is?
I think there's just a stigma put on the word, you know, like that everyone's like a lesbian with hairy armpits and is ugly.
And also I think that there's a man-bashing thing attached to it, that if you're a feminist, then you hate men.
Right.
And like one automatically goes with the other, which is so not true.
Like the Ellen Jamesians?
Sure.
Do you know who they are?
No.
Obviously, you didn't read The World According to Garp. Like in The World According to Garp, there's this like very extreme sort of radical feminist group. They're called the Ellen Jamesians, and they cut their tongues out, and they absolutely hate men. And it's
so it's that feeling I think that goes along with it, and it's not really a fair assessment of feminism.
Okay. I'm with you.
I mean, I was just actually reading this thing from Hugh Hefner's daughter, and she's like,
Christy?
Yeah, she's amazing.
Amazing.
She like said all this stuff about how people were so afraid to call themselves feminists and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you're right on 100%. And she does so much for that business.
Yeah.
She's
she
the
is that
president
business.
Of, Playboy Enterprise. She actually, I had the good fortune of hearing, she received this award last year from this organization called Cable Positive. And she gave this unbelievable speech. Like I didn't, you know, again, I had no idea what to expect, you know, and I think again, you know, we have such preconceived notions of like, oh, she's Hugh Hefner's daughter. She grew up, you know, with a silver spoon in her mouth. Brilliant woman, amazing things to say, very progressive. And I mean, she has this amazing enterprise and like keeps it running and keeps it, you know, sort of relevant in a very sort of interesting way.
Yeah. I know. She's great. And I read about her in that magazine, Good magazine, which I also think is amazing. Another great thing happening these days.
You have a calendar too, though, right?
Yeah, I have two. Well, I had one. I did one in 2003 and one in 2006, and maybe I'll do one in 2009.
Okay. We are big calendar fans.
We are big calendar fans. Because so yours is more like a butch representation of women, because we had the girls from I Heart Brooklyn Girls.
Oh, yeah.
And theirs is more like the femme representation. Yeah. So it's kind of cool to have like both sides of it.
And,
totally.
You know, have you heard of the Suicide Girls?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Am I just late to the party?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Like, they've been around
really
for
late
like a long time.
Okay, well, I turned on HBO last night. You
like
know,
the party.
Climbed into bed with, you know, my bucket of chicken. And, you know, it's like, I turned on the TV.
You did not climb into bed with a bucket
and
of chicken.
And a tall boy.
Waited for the TV tube to warm up. No, I mean, I got into bed last night and turned on HBO, and it was real sex, and they did a segment. Well, the opening segment, I was like, oh my God, it's the High Art Brooklyn Girls, but it was the Suicide Girls.
Yeah.
So.
Well, one of their months was supposed to be in that vein. I don't remember which month.
One of the I Heart Brooklyn Girls months. Oh, okay.
Like the 90s, or no, I guess it was the 2000s.
Well, they had a very interesting definition.
And then they had the Future Girl.
Of punk, I think. No, what was it? They used a word, and I was like, oh, that's what they mean? Anyway, riveting.
Great story.
I know. Should I tell the middle part again? And you also have a dance troupe.
I did. Well, that was like prior to. It was when the cabaret license laws in New York were happening. So since they have been overturned, we have stopped our dance troupe. But it was called Dykes Can Dance, and we staged kind of dance interventions at clubs where you weren't supposed to dance.
But explain to our listeners and viewers what you're talking about in terms of the cabaret laws, because people cannot believe it.
It is true. Footloose is not a joke.
Here in New York City?
Yeah. New York City, during Giuliani's reign, of the city. There were some cabaret license laws in some bars where you were not allowed to dance, or you had to pay a certain amount of money for the right to let people dance in your club. And a lot of gay clubs were targeted, and police came by often to try and make sure that nobody was dancing at the clubs that didn't pay for the cabaret license. So my friends and I got together a group called Dykes Can Dance, and we did some dance, you know, wonderful dance. What are they called? Dance...
Ins?
No.
Dance moves? Dance...
Dances.
Dances.
Choreographed dances.
Okay.
Sure.
Numbers, we
Numbers.
That's what we call.
Yeah. And numbers is so great.
Numbers.
It's really great. And then we performed them at places where you weren't supposed to dance quickly and then ran out. So...